this second phase is what I call the factoring two-step. Okay, the factoring two-step, I call it that because in these problems there will be two steps in order to get the problem factored. And I'm now on page 8 of the handout. Number 3 on page 8 of the handout, and it says 8x squared plus 8x minus 48. I want you to remember, in factoring, that your first step is always to factor the common factor. In fact, I've come up with this slogan, this catchy little slogan. It may look like a 4-letter word if you're not careful. It's FCFF. Factor the common factor first. In other words, before you do two sets of parentheses like we've been doing, make your habit to look to see if there's a common factor. Remember, the first part of this explanation that came from the one-step book was on factoring the common factor. And after we did factoring the common factor, then we did the trinomial factoring. Well, make that factoring the common factor your first step, even if it's a trinomial, do you see? So what's my first step here? Is there a common factor? 8. So what do we do with that common factor? Take out the common factor, 8, and put down the common factor, 8, at the very beginning of the problem, and open up parentheses. Now, if we take out the 8, factor out that 8, what's left in the first position?
X squared.
X squared, okay?
Plus
and
X.
In the second position would be what? Plus X. And in the third position is a minus
40.
Now we factored out the 8.
Oh.
So 8 times 6 would be 48, wouldn't it?
Oh, okay.
So that would have to be negative 6. And if you'll notice, I've color-coded it for you. I've got it all color-coded. Okay? Now what I need to do is, this is a trinomial in here, isn't it? Can you factor that trinomial? By the methods we've just been doing. So let's do it. 2 sets of parentheses. What?
8.
8 out in front. And we start with, now, f, which would be what?
8.
xx. Okay? And then what? After f. After f, after first times first comes what? Last times last. Last times last. So the last times last would be what?
3 and 2.
3, 2. 3, 2. Okay? Now how did you know it was 3, 2?
3 times 2 is 6.
Because 3 times 2 is 6. Also could have been 6 times 1, couldn't it? But how do we know it's 3, 2? Because,
You gotta get X in the middle.
okay, this is like billiards. Anybody play billiards? Shoot pool? How can this possibly be like billiards? Rapidly, what are you up to now? All right? Well, what do you do when you're shooting billiards? You're not just satisfied to sink the ball that you want to sink. What do you have to do?
Position
Set up,
the next step.
position the next shot, right? That's what we're doing. When I say, what's the first times first? Well, no, not the first time. When I say, what's the last times last, and you said 3 times 2, what are you doing? You're planning your next shot. And the next shot after the last times last is the outer times outer, the inner times inner. See? All right? So, in other words, when you said 3, 2, you were planning ahead because you know that the middle term has to be 1. And what does this negative sign right there tell you? That we were just talking about.
Tells you the signs will be opposite.
Signs will be opposite. Okay, so this has to be opposite sign. Now, does it matter which one gets the negative?
Yes.
Which one gets the positive in this case? The positive sign here would go with the larger, which would be right there, plus and minus. And that'll do it. Now, do a quick check on this and see if it works. First times first, x times x, x squared. The outer times outer is what?
2x.
Negative 2x. The inner times inner is positive 3x. And the last times last is negative 6. And sure enough, it checks. Okay?
Could it
Yes.
be that negative 2 go to?
Oh, yes. Very good. Very good.
I didn't do mine that way. I got the negative 2
Okay.
down.
All right. She's asking me, would it be okay if she put it like this? have the 8 out in front, and have the x here, and the x here, and have the 2 here, and the 3 there. Would that be okay? It's okay. Where do you have to put the negative sign? Where do you have to put the positive?
Positive 3.
Positive 3, okay? Positive 3 and negative 2, and that's perfectly fine.
As long as you've got the positive sign with the largest number.
That's right. As
Doesn't
long
matter where it
as,
goes.
long as your signs are in the right place, as long as the signs are with the right number, it doesn't matter what order you put the answer. Is that clear? Okay? All right. I think I'd like to stop and give you a chance to do a problem. On page 9, try number 10. On page 9, try number 10. Let me give you the problem in case you don't have... In fact, I'll give you 3 or 4 problems that you can work on in case you're using this video and you don't have the handout. X cubed plus 5x squared minus... By the way, if you need this handout, call me at extension 328-2249 on the main campus or 2345 on the Hunt Club campus. And I'll be glad to get you a copy of this. There's number 10. And right below that would be a fun problem, number 13. X to the 4th plus x cubed minus 20x squared. And as the third problem, if you want to try this one, try 18x, number 18, which is 18x to the 4th plus 54x to the 3rd plus 36x to the 2nd. Okay? And let me give you a chance to do some problems, and then I'll come check on you. Thank you.